In this particular video, we're going to discuss Transaction Analyzer and what it's going to do for you and how to actually get some useful information out of it. To begin, we'll open up Transaction Analyzer, supplier credentials. It'll load up and then it takes us to the home page. Now the home page has several buttons and tabs across the top, and what Transaction Analyzer really is really what its name is, Transaction Analyzer. What it does is it allows you to go through each tab, select specific criteria for something that you're looking for, and then generate a report based on that. The criteria will start off very general, as in menu items, discounts, service charges, or payments, and as you go through the tabs you'll start whittling down the potential data that's going to be returned. Across the top you have New, Open, Save, Delete, Run, Help, Context-Sensitive Help, and Exit. The first four have to deal with saving these queries or dealing with these queries. So you can create new queries, you can open them, you can rerun them, you can delete them, and Help is obviously Help, and Exit is obviously Exit. So let's go ahead and walk through a particular transaction or a particular query that we want to run. The first thing we have to decide is what are we looking for. It could be a menu item, a discount, a service charge, or a payment. And every time you select one of these, this box down here will change. So when I hit menu items, this became menu items. When I hit discount, this became discount. When you click in here, this will list all the appropriate categories and the individual records that have been used to date. So right now we haven't used in this particular database any discounts. If we go to payments and we select this, you'll see we've tendered some transactions with cash and some with Visa. So let's start with that. Let's go ahead and say we want to look for just Visa payments. The next tab is period. What date range do you want to look for? In some instances, in some versions of Transaction Analyzer, this is only valid for 14 days. In other versions, it's configurable, so you'll have to check with your programmer as to the extent of what you can query. So we can look for dates, we can look for times, and if you want to change these, you just hit the little calendar windows and select that information. Location. Is this a specific revenue center that you want to look for? This database only has one. And you can even query by a specific register. If we go to personnel, we have check and transaction employees. A check employee is who owns the check when it was originally begun, and the transaction is the employee who has information rung while they have that specific check open. This can be in a typical restaurant. You're dealing with check employees. In some cashiering environments, you'll be dealing with transaction employees. You can search for all employees or specific employees, and same with cashiers. And then you can check for non-training check statuses, training check statuses, future orders, and future training orders. Special conditions, there are two ways to get through this. There is a wizard and then there is the advanced. If we look at the advanced, you will have these particular choices of, are you looking for a voided, and in our instance a voided Visa payment, a manager authorized one, a returned one, a tax exempt one, a Visa payment with a specific amount or range of amounts, a specific quantity of these payments on one particular check, a Visa payment that is associated with a specific table or check number or check ID, a specific reference attached to it, or something that involved a price override. As you click through these, you'll notice that the right hand pane will change to suit the record that we've highlighted. Tax exempt, amount, and let's take amount for an example. Include items with amounts. So we would hit that and then we would select the amount that we're looking for. In this instance, I'm not too worried about amounts, as I want to see the greatest number of Visa payments that we've accepted on this date according to the criteria we've picked already. If I go to Format and Sort, I have Available Columns, I have Selected Columns, and Sort Order. The available columns is everything that is available to be placed in the report. The selected columns is what we already have in the report. So let's just take a quick look at what this report looks like first. On the columns, you'll have business date, transaction number, line number, item name, quantity, and amount, and it will be sorted according to this criteria. I simply hit Run, and it will return. Let's see if we can open that up just a little bit. It returns two particular days with, two records for one specific day with the Visa, and here are the amounts that it's found for us, which is great. That's exactly what we were looking for. We're going to close that back down, and I may not want to see the transaction number, so if I highlight that and kick him back to this column, he'll be removed. If I take out the line number as well, and maybe what we want to do is we want to include the check number instead. Maybe we want to see that check number. Now here's my selected columns, and this is the order that they'll appear from left to right. But I'd like to move that check number up a little bit, maybe to there. So now if I run this, and we'll get that in a little bit easier to read format, you'll have item number, item name. Here's our check number. So we can tell that on 3/23, the year 2012, we had two Visa payments on checks 288, 290, and here's our totals. That's exactly what we're looking for. And that transaction analyzer will work pretty much the same way for all the criteria that we have. Now there's one more thing I'd like to show you, and that's under the Print tab here. One of the most useful features with this is to select the report type as check. We were looking at it as transaction before, but if we look at it as check and we run this again, we will have a listing of specific checks. You'll see this is duplicated sometimes based on who picked it up or if it was service totaled and then picked up again. If I highlight a specific check, and you can highlight multiples using the Windows Control button and Shift buttons, and then I hit View Checks, this will actually return the receipt that was rung in. It is not a complete receipt as the POS generates, but it is a very close replication of that receipt. So if you have customers looking for a specific receipt, or you just want to see what happened on a particular receipt, this is the best way to view it. From here, if you're happy with this, you can go back to your categories here, or your top page here, and you can save this. Now you should know that Transaction Analyzer will work in demonstration mode if you haven't licensed it yet or purchased it. There is some utility that you can use. One of these being what we've just done. However, if it is licensed, you will be able to save the configuration. And for instance, we want to name this Visa Payments, and we will save that. And then if we click the Open, you'll see I have my Visa Payments there. If I open that back up, it'll reload the criteria just the way that we had saved it, and you can run this just the same. This ends our video.